So Disney pretty much owns Star Wars at this point, and with the purchase of Fox, this includes the original trilogy distribution rights. So, if they wanted to, Disney could release a brand new version of the films where they change whatever the hell they want and there's nothing George Lucas can do about it. Or, they could give us a digitally restored version of the original movies. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. No, I'm here to talk about things Disney should do to alter the original trilogy. Now, hold on, guys. Hear me out. Not all of the changes done in the past were considered bad if you think about it. I think most would agree that the scene involving the Emperor talking to Vader in Episode 5 looks much better in the special edition than it did originally. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. This is not to talk about which changes should be kept versus which ones should be restored. On shot first. This video is actually about things that have never been changed before that should be changed. Now, while this does mean that the list won't include things like who shot first or which actor should appear at the end of Jedi, there is an exception to this rule. While I can't include things that have been changed in the past being kept or not, I am allowed to include scenes that have been previously altered. But it has to be a change that has never been made before. So, for example, I'm not allowed to say that in the scene where Vader talks the Emperor hologram that one of the already existing options should be the one they use. However, if, for example, I say that it should instead be changed so that the Emperor is now shown to be Mickey Mouse, with voice included, that would be qualified due to being something that hasn't been done before. Not that I would want to do that. Although I do admit that would be pretty funny to see.
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is a great disturbance in the Force.
I have felt it.
We have a new enemy, the young rebel who destroyed the Death Star. I have no doubt this boy is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker.
How is that possible?
Search your feelings, Lord Vader. You know it to be true. Ha ha! He could destroy us.
He's just a boy. Obi-Wan can no longer help him.
The Force is strong with him. The son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi.
If he could be turned, he would become a powerful ally.
Yes, he could be a great asset. Ha ha! Can it be done?
He will join us or die, Master.
In fact, Disney, if you want to include a change where you make Mickey Mouse the Emperor during that scene, put it in as a DVD extra. That would be pretty amusing. But anyway, that aside, time for the top 5 changes for the Star Wars Disney edition. Number 5. Give Chewbacca a medal in A New Hope. This one is pretty simple. That award scene at the end of A New Hope should have Chewie wearing a medal. Yes, I know that The Rise of Skywalker had him getting one, minor spoiler. But that doesn't count. You don't even need to add a scene of Leia putting one on him. Just have the shots after Han and Luke receive theirs show that Chewbacca, has a medal placed on him. Heck, I'll give a quick Photoshop of what it might look like. But, of course, we've done much better. But anyway, don't have to even show Leia giving it to him. We can just assume that she gave it to him off screen. Like I said, pretty easy. Have it implied that Chewie got the medal off screen. Number 4. A clearer version of the Force Ghost scene in Return of the Jedi. Now, remember how I said that the exception to the rule is that if it's a brand new change? Well, this is why I mentioned it. So first, let's address the two versions and why neither of them really work. So the original version with Sebastian Shaw doesn't make sense because without realizing that that's the same guy that played Vader during the unmasking scene, you have no way of realizing that that's supposed to be the redeemed Anakin Skywalker, but with all those injuries gone. Now, as for the Hayden Christensen version, the only way watchers can figure out that that's supposed to be Anakin is by watching the prequels first. And I can't in any way suggest watching them before the originals first. Or, honestly, I really can't recommend watching the prequels in general, but especially not before the original trilogy. Unless, of course, you want all the major twists about Vader being Luke's father being completely ruined. So, anyway, here's the question. How do we fix this problem so that we know exactly who that's supposed to be? So, we have the party celebration. And I don't care if you're playing Yub Nub or Victory Celebration since both are great pieces made by John Williams. By the way, John, you're the best. So anyway, Luke is looking at the sky and sees Obi-Wan and Yoda just like always, but rather than seeing Anakin appear the way he had previously, we instead see him with his sort of disfigured face that was seen in right before his death a few minutes earlier. Side note, I don't care if this is the original with the eyebrows or the altered one, as long as it's consistent with what he looked like in the previous scene. So anyway, Anakin appears with his face looking exactly the way it looked when we had last seen him, and he could either be wearing those Jedi robes or maybe even his Vader outfit. Doesn't really matter. So anyway, one thing I saw pointed out in a comment once was that in the original version, it looks as though Anakin and Obi-Wan kind of look over at each other and sort of nod in a way that suggests that Obi-Wan was sort of acknowledging to him that he may have even forgiven Anakin for killing him. And I kind of like that idea, so in this version, Obi-Wan nods at the disfigured Anakin, and upon seeing this, we see Anakin's force go sort of transform into the Sebastian Shaw version that we saw originally. So it would be much like how it should have ended version, minus the extra talking. By the way, shout out to How It Should Have Ended videos. You guys are hilarious. And yeah, let's use that version, sort of. Number 3, destruction of Alderaan in better detail in A New Hope. The destruction of Alderaan deserves a bit of an extension. So, say what you will of the newer Disney movies and their spin-offs, but one thing Rogue One and Rise of Skywalker did a really good job of doing was showing the destruction of the planet in a way that really shows it from the perspective of the people on the planet that's being destroyed. So here's how I'd like to see the scene play out. So like always, Tarkin gives the order to blow up Alderaan. The staff presses the buttons, we see the green energy being generated like always, but before we see the laser beam firing, we instead cut to showing the inhabitants of Alderaan having a nice peaceful day. And for bonus points and closure, we also see that Jar Jar Binks is visibly seen in the background. But he's not saying anything because we don't want to hear his annoying voice. No, I don't care that this is about to contradict whatever statements they've made about Jar Jar's fate. Shut up. This is what happens now. So anyway, we see the planet's inhabitants and Jar Jar on the planet like any other day when one of them that isn't Jar Jar points up and wonders what's going on. We then see the laser firing and Leia reacting. But instead of seeing it just hit the planet and being instantly destroyed, we see it hit the planet, and we cut back to the point of view of the people on the planet as the beam hits the planet and we see it getting destroyed. And if you want, you can have the planet's destruction show Jar Jar being specifically caught in the explosion, as long as we don't hear him talk. So the planet is about to blow up. We see the people of Alderaan screaming and running in a panic, but it's too late, as we then see the planet explode. Though, I'd like to see it done in a more close to how it looked like in the newer films, being blown to pieces, and then the film goes back to how it was previously. Number 2, Luke and Leia's kiss on the lips to a cheek kiss in Empire Strikes Back. So, Luke and Leia's kiss in Empire has been a constant source of jokes for quite some time now. And I'm legit surprised that it hasn't been altered yet. Now, I get what they were going for here. Leia was teasing Han that she might like Luke over him, and neither of them had any idea that they were siblings, so it's understandable at the time. But that doesn't make it any less strange once we find out that they're related. So how can it be fixed without completely rewriting the story? It's simple. We change it so that instead of Leia locking lips with Luke, she instead kisses him on the cheek. At this point, Disney has proven that they can de-age and revive actors all they want, so changing a brief 5-second moment should not be that difficult to do. So after Leia kisses Luke on the cheek, the scene resumes to normal. And the number 1 pick is lightsaber battles being redone in all 3 movies. So before I begin, huge shout out to the video Star Wars SC-38 Reimagined, which will be included as a link in the description for the inspiration here. So let's be honest here. As great as the original trilogy was, one of the biggest flaws of the films was that the lightsaber battles were really slow, especially compared to both the prequel and sequel films. Like seriously, in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin and Obi-Wan's battle looked like this. But in A New Hope, it looks like this. How do you go from this point to this? Now, it's not an excuse that Obi-Wan has become weaker with old age, or that Vader's power was greatly reduced by his loss of limbs and the suit. Nope, not good enough. I'm not going to accept that as an excuse. So anyway, here's what I'm thinking. We have the fight be done in a similar manner to how it looked in the Reimagined video, with the two really going all out in their long-awaited rematch. Now, just to be clear, I am not saying that should be the exact version that was done in the video, but it should be similar in style and idea. In fact, the scene should not have any new dialogue or altered dialogue or any new music unless it's appropriate. It should just be, let's add some moments of the fight so that it, has a little bit more action than what we got. Now, keep in mind that the video of the Star Wars Reimagined thing was done by just a couple amateurs who have a YouTube channel. If they can do that with just that kind of equipment, just imagine how much Disney can do with an actual budget, huge amounts of Disney money. And they could, with the ability to revive dead actors and completely redo the entire fight. Now, I do want to make this very clear, that the fight should still end with the same result. So, it should still end with Luke seeing Obi-Wan and Vader's fight, and then, of course, Obi-Wan lifting the lightsaber up so that Vader can get a free shot, and essentially it ending with Obi-Wan's death. That should still be the same, and we're not just going to do this for A New Hope. We should also do this for Empire Strikes Back, as well as Return of the Jedi, with Luke and Vader's 2 fights. Once again, no new dialogue, just quicker paced action for the fight scene. And the results should still be the same, with Luke and Vader going up to the outside of Cloud City and, Luke losing his hand. And of course, the rematch should still result in eventually Vader teasing Luke and getting him all agitated to a point where he starts going all out and returning the favor. So those should still be the same results. The scene shouldn't be too much longer, but just a few extra minutes, that sort of thing. Anyway, point is, if all 3 of those fights were redone like that, I can tell you right now, it would look really awesome. And I don't know about you, but I think a lot of people would like to see a reimagined lightsaber battles in the original trilogy. So anyway, those are my top 5 changes that I would like to see Disney make, should they ever do a re-release of the movies. Now, if you have any other ideas for changes that they should make, or disagree with the ones I suggested, leave a comment below. If this video does well enough, I might even make more Star Wars videos. Perhaps even one about which changes I like and which ones I don't like could be next.